wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast. This week's episode was recorded on my phone in the kitchen while we were cooking dinner. Hence, the sound quality sucks. Sounds a bit like we recorded it on a 1980s tape recorder using a tape that was just about worn out, and then buried it at sea for 100 years, and then dug it up and played it. The tape broke. We taped it back together again. Well, you'll get the idea. Anyway, I hope you are well where you're at. Enjoy the show. I just bumped the microphone with my hand. Anyway, have a good week. Hey everybody, this is Steve with the Sunday Stoic Podcast. I hope life where you are is tolerable and that you are doing better than I, and that I've not yet done what I thought I would, and that's create a regular routine that I would attempt to follow every day. But it's actually been quite difficult to do that, and one of the reasons why it's hard to create a routine is that we have a 3-year-old, well almost 4-year-old, he'll tell you, who's asleep right now. And so my wife is over here cutting potatoes. Hi, Chrissy.
Hi.
And we are about to work on a North African peanut stew for dinner, which is a recipe that consists of sweet potatoes, onions, corn, lentils,
tomatoes.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stew. We sometimes eat vegetarian, not often, because we also my brother and father are farmers, and they often give us beef for Christmas and things. But we do try to integrate some more meat-free or simplistic recipes into our routines. But sometimes it's difficult to create a meal that requires you to prepare something in advance, or to sit down and read Stoicism when, even though people might think, oh, you have all the time in the world, you're at home with the COVID-19 thing. Well, I end up working, and my wife works, and it's hard to create a good, solid routine where you give yourself a break, because even at home, work will take as much time as you're willing to give it. And so we're just grateful right now to have this time, and rather than go sneak away and hide and record a podcast and read from Marcus Aurelius to you all, I just thought we'd have an informal chat this week. Chrissy, what, from your perspective, just being a mom with a boy who really likes his mommy, what are the challenges to working at home, as from your perspective, and what are some ways that you've been able to get over it and move on?
Well, I certainly want to give a lot of attention to Charlie, our 3-year-old, but I also am a librarian, and I'm still supposed to be on call online to answer reference questions. We're in the process of migrating our library system to a whole new system and mapping records and stuff, so that's kind of complicated and detailed, and it's hard to focus on that kind of thing when you're being begged to make dinosaurs talk, or, can you push me on the swing while you cook dinner? Well, that's kind of a challenge. I'd like to be in more than one place at a time. I want to give my attention to my job, because I want to make sure I continue to be relevant so that they don't decide they need to lay me off. I want to continue to have my job, but I want to not have my child be, thrown to the wild, have to raise himself, I guess, so trying to figure out how to give a little bit of time to each of those things is difficult.
I know, I thought, for example, that I'd get way ahead on this podcast and think, well, I'm home, because I'd be able to do what they call deep work, where you really get into something and distractions fade away and you can really work on it. But I found deep work to be impossible.
I'm about to make a really loud hissing sound.
That's fine. This is live. This is almost live radio here. Listen, this is the sound of onions falling into olive oil. Mm-hmm. For those of you into what is it, ASMR, where the people love the sounds. There it is for you. Okay. I'll move the phone back over here. So yeah, I found it hard to get into deep work for work purposes or even for school purposes because of the fact that work conditions are not ideal. Like the stool I'm in is not comfortable. While I'm trying to work, there's cartoons blaring out of the other room or a kid running in to ask me what I'm doing when I'm in the middle of recording a lecture. It's hard to submerge yourself in work and get a lot of deep work accomplished during this time. But
I tried going to the back bedroom of the house to work at one point and found that our internet was not good enough, so I couldn't do any work in the back bedroom. So I can't get out of Charlie's line of sight so that he can be distracted with his own pursuits for any length of time. I'm always front and center, and he always notices what I'm not paying attention to.
Yeah, if you go to the back of the house, I mean, it's not like we have a huge house, but if you go to the back of the house, the internet, which is already slow, I mean, even when it's good, it takes me often over an hour to upload a 10, 15-minute video for my lectures, so it takes a while. And so if you go to the back of the house and try to hide in the bedroom, if our son does not realize you're gone and you're trying to work, the internet's too slow anyway to even open a Google document. Google Docs has been very hard to open from our home internet. So it's been a definite lesson in things that are in our power and things that are outside our power. And it's very clear the things that we can't control. I can't make the internet go faster. I can't make my son play on his own when he doesn't want to. And but it's not been all bad. We've got to teach him to read some words. We've taken advantage of that.
We've read a lot of stories. We've tried to think creatively of things we can do, that can be, I guess, enriching activities and also just basic kid fun. Like we are still having Easter egg hunts, even though Easter is done, just because he enjoys the hunting and trying to figure out where things are hidden. We made a car out of a cardboard box and pushed him around the house a little bit. We found a giant beach ball that we had from a few summers ago in the back of the closet, blew it up, chased it around in the yard a bit. And we invented a house for some plastic dinosaurs, and the house is made out of a Rolling Rock beer carton.
An empty case of beer, yeah. So he's had a lot of activities to keep him busy, and I myself have been reading when I can and trying to create a routine. I had a plan for a routine, and Epictetus just warns us. I was going to read this one again on the show, but I decided we'd go just do an informal chat this week. But Epictetus warns us to not let failure become a habit. We want to build good habits and not let failure become one of them. We will fail, but we don't want to be okay with it all the time. We want to say, let's get up and do that again. And so what I really want to do is get back into a routine where I try to jog down our street, and hopefully the dogs don't attack me or follow me. I want to get up at the same time every day because I naturally don't like doing that, especially when it's 6 or 6:30 or whatever. When I want to get up, it's just not me. So I want to try to do that just to get myself moving, and set aside a little bit of time for like I said, a little bit of physical fitness. Set aside a little bit of time for journaling. I have been getting better at journaling. I created a system for myself. That what I did was I read through several passages of Marcus Aurelius, and I wrote down the themes that he was journaling about. Not the content, but the themes. Things like impermanence and the fact that others don't do wrong intentionally, and that we're all essentially part of the same cosmopolis, and themes like the view from above and things like that. And I wrote down these themes that showed up in his writings, and I numbered them, and then my idea is either with a roll of a dice or with just going by the numbers, I will use those as kind of prompts to help me to think about what to write about, what to reflect on, things that are important to Stoic philosophy. So I want to just start journaling more to reflect on what's important, how to make progress where I failed, formalize that. I've also wanted to meditate, but for reasons we've already discussed, I found it very challenging to start a meditation practice. There's always something going on.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you think when this is all over? What about what aspects of life will you no longer take for granted when we go back to work and this weird coronavirus thing is done?
The ability to have focused, quiet time, or just at least during my work day. I will definitely appreciate that a lot more. I will say, I try to take time to think about the things that are good about this time. The fact that I'm getting to see what is growing around our yard right now, the flowers that are blooming, then the frogs.
Hence the allergies we're having right now. The sniffling you're hearing.
The frogs, the blue-tailed skinks that are running across our porch, the animals that are waking up, the purple martins coming in, getting to see them move into their house, and the barn swallows are building a nest on the porch. And so getting to spend that time and out of my office and near a window, or being able to go outside during the day and enjoy those things has been great. I've been working a lot in my garden. And actually have some tomatoes and peppers planted. And just the fact that I'm getting to spend, I've lamented in the past, while I enjoy getting to go to work and having some peace and some time to focus, and just kind of time to regroup my thoughts before I am with Charlie again. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm getting to spend a lot more time with Charlie right now, at a time when I often felt like I was missing out on his growth and development, and his learning to read, and learning to do so many different things, that those things were happening at school when I was at work. And so this is a period of time when I'm getting to be present for that, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm trying to recognize that there's good and bad, and all of these things, and try to focus on the good, because there's plenty I can't do about the bad.
Yeah, I'm grateful that for the same things as you said, guys. Watching the turtles in the yard this morning, and the purple martins, and the deer that we saw in the yard the other day. All these things that we would have missed out on, being with our son as well, and also, even though I haven't managed to lose any weight since this has started, learning to not go out and run to the store whenever I have a certain whim or a craving. I want this, I want that. It's put a halt on it's reduced maybe the numbers of recipes we've done and things like that. And we go to the store far less frequently, so we're very deliberate about it, which is probably good.
I'd say we actually are doing more recipes. I've tried a lot more things in the Instapot and things that I just didn't have time, seemed like, to think about. But I'm here, and I can think about a recipe and say, oh, well, I want to make this, so I think I'll soak those beans or make some rice now, so it'll be ready for later, and then I'll go back to work. Well, I can't do that when I'm in the office. So
I'm also never going to take for granted the work that my son's daycare professionals go through every day. All the work they do, they're still doing it too. They're still in business. We're just keeping our son home out of precaution.
Can you help me with that?
Yeah, let me open that. What are we opening? Ooh, cumin.
Yeah.
So he's home, but they're amazing. So shout out to Conway Montessori.
Yes. For the 40 plus kids that they somehow keep occupied and growing and learning.
And somewhat disciplined.
Taking naps when they should.
Here, you want to hear those onions again?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound good. Okay, so we're not gonna take that for granted, and also all of you and all of those around here, folks around here that are still going into work every day and putting themselves at risk. We see it all over the news, but it's not just empty thing. It's
I am grateful. I try to say something to the grocery store clerks that are there, that are checking out at the cash registers, because I didn't today, and I feel bad about it, but I'm just to say, I'm glad you're here, and thank you for doing what you're doing, because we need you. We need all these parts of the community.
All of these gears have to turn. We're all a gear somewhere. So no matter what you're doing, or if you're in a situation where you're laid off, and you're not getting an income right now, and there's that stress, have to refocus your priorities. We're all going through something right now, and I think that the Stoic philosophy has helped me. Never once have I even come close to freaking out about this stuff, partially because of that. It's like, okay, here's the challenge we're going to go through, and I think we'll probably be okay, and if I catch it, and then we'll see what happens after that, Oh, so the potatoes and the sweet potatoes have now gone into the pot. We're stirring them right now, and
we were probably supposed to start all at the same time, but I kind of missed that.
Well, we're chatting. Your husband made you talk into a microphone for no reason. We're just talking into the phone, by the way, so if the quality stinks, I apologize. But before we go, is there anything else we should add about getting through this, or our philosophies of life and things we're grateful for, etc.?
I don't know. I can't think of anything else at the moment. Multitasking.
I know, multitasking is hard. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you to my latest patrons, whom I will name by name soon when things calm down and I can find a hole to hide in to record a quiet podcast again. But until then, feel free to let us know how you're doing, and do your best to seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to The Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review The Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com. And as Steve always says, Carpe diem.